I've never been particularly interested in representing reality or recreating reality, if you like. My technique and my method is about interpreting, processing my experience and my world in a way that creates an experience for the viewer. I'm Monica Levy. I'm an Australian artist living here in Berlin. I have an exhibition at the moment at the KulturHaus Karlshorst, which is a small regional gallery just outside the centre of Berlin. And we opened during the COVID-19 period, which means that nobody was allowed in. This show actually has three different sections in a way, or it represents three different bodies of work. My work is very much an emotional response and intellectual response to the environment in which I live. And those three bodies of work actually correspond to three very different periods of my life in Berlin. And one of the first pieces in the show is something called Swans. And I was working with how to create depth and openness and space for the viewer in a work. I was looking for a meditative portal environment in a way for people to step out of the world and into something internal. It's probably the most figurative piece in this show, it is, and it comes actually from the swans, the white swans, who live on the Landbar Canal right near where I live, who I love and I visit and see every day, and they're very much an emblem of Berlin to me. The second part of the show represented here is the Border Country series, which is what I began doing in this period when we had so many people coming in from all around the world, particularly the flow of refugees coming here into Berlin. I come from French, German, Jewish refugees who escaped from here. I'm the first of my family to come back to Europe, and it's been a very important part of my time here in Berlin is processing my history. And for me, this was a time where I started working with the concept of borders and the spaces between people, and the physical spaces between people, the emotional spaces between people, the places where our stories blend and meld, where our blood, like mine, like many of us, particularly in Australia, where our histories mix and meld together. And that's when I started using colour again in my work. And here in this exhibition, what was interesting to me is a lot of the colours that came through in that Border Country series were colours from my memories and my childhood in Australia. The ocean and green leaves and pink flowers and yellow flowers. The final works were actually created right in the middle of the lockdown. These paintings are called What's Yours Is Mine. And at this time, I was really aware of this fracturing between people, and this real awareness suddenly of the space between people. So the way that this came through in my work was I started to fragment my paintings and creating works where the paint actually is leaping from one canvas to another, much as the energy I was seeing was leaping between people. The common thread that I have with my work, whether it's doing small watercolours or large acrylic paintings, is that I'm looking at a method of expression that is where I and my physicality, my emotional state, my energies, if you like, impact and mix with the materials as they are, the integrity of those materials, pure pigments and water and pure untreated canvases. And then what happens between my finished object and the viewer is potentially a different thing altogether. And this is my method, this is my technology.